Overrated.
Yeah,
overrated.
So, welcome to the locker room chat. So, as you know, last week, me and Barry had a lengthy discussion about some things. And I tried to explain to Mr. Barry, he don't listen to me very well. He's like an unruly child.
Give me a reason.
Hold on a minute. He doesn't listen to me very well. I tried to tell him last week, don't worry about the Tennessee baseball team. Everything's going to be okay.
Hey, Chandler.
It's going to be okay. Statement sweep.
Go get the tape.
Tennessee.
Get the tape.
Tennessee rolls Vanderbilt. 3-game sweep. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. I told you not to worry about it. Calm down.
Wow.
We'll get things straightened out. Everything will be okay. Your comments.
I mean, how do you comment somebody that's, that can't comprehend what they said?
Oh, I comprehended it perfectly fine. I was trying to defend him.
Okay, so you want to roll the tape back?
Yeah, we can roll the tape back anything you want. That's just you.
No,
Go ahead. I've
asked
you a question. Answer it now. What do you think about the Vols sweeping this weekend?
It's
a must, wasn't it?
I didn't think they would sweep. I thought they would win at least one.
One's not enough.
But the pitching all of a sudden came alive. Hitting came alive. And let's look at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt probably wasn't near as good as everybody thought they were. Remember, they started the season off just like they did this weekend.
So,
bad.
In the last couple of weeks, you've talked about Tony Vitello, and maybe it could be we might need a change with him. And he made some changes.
I said that?
Yeah,
Oh,
we made some changes. Listen, we made some changes. He made some changes.
I don't even want to listen to that.
His crucial change was getting the
listen.
kid out of the bullpen that he brought in Friday night. You'll think bomb.
I didn't even want to listen.
The pitching change that he done Friday night, bringing the guy in for relief. I can't remember his name. Brings him in, 1, 2, 3, and then they bust out Friday night.
Well, plus you're forgetting two things.
What's the two things I'm forgetting?
The coat and the hat.
Oh, yeah, they did bring that back a little bit, get a little swag back.
But
they said the reason that today I heard the reason they hadn't had the coat and hat because they actually hadn't been playing up to standards of last year's team, and they are not last year's team.
Not only that, but they didn't want to identify as last year's team. They wanted to identify as this year's team.
And I can understand that.
It didn't get it done, and they said, hey, the senior leadership, which is what we talked about last week. Where's the senior leadership? Well, it showed up. They brought the stuff back. They got their swagger back. They started hitting the ball, and it was Vanderbilt. And what did we say about Tennessee Tech? Probably looking to Vanderbilt.
Oh, they must have been.
So now we're talking on the right track. Not all this garbage you've been talking about.
I've not been talking about garbage.
About sweet. You didn't think they would win one game.
No, I said they need to win 2 out of 3.
Okay.
I wasn't just one. I knew one wasn't enough.
But you didn't think they could win that.
Yeah, I thought they could.
Oh, okay.
But they're still not out of the doghouse, though, as far as that. Big series this week coming up, starting tomorrow night. Is it Mississippi State, I believe? Isn't that right? I believe it's Mississippi State.
They'll be okay against Mississippi
They should be. We need to win. We need to have another sweep.
They'll be good now.
We need to have another sweep.
They'll be good now. They've got the bats going. The one player that you accused of being the troublemaker has finally showed up. He's finally gotten his confidence. He's finally found his way in Knoxville. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I didn't say he was a troublemaker.
That's the guy that's causing all the problems.
I thought he could be.
Okay, but he's not.
But he could be.
He started playing. He got synchronized into the system. Missed the first 5 games of the year. Mm-hmm. He's just now becoming a part of this team.
Still made some
Look out, SEC. The Vols are coming back strong.
They still made some errors and stuff that are still
they did
down on the high school level that they shouldn't be making. But anyway, beside the point.
It's okay.
I'm glad they won. I'm glad they pulled the sweep off.
You always are after the week before.
I couldn't wait to come.
All of this stuff.
I couldn't wait to come, I could show that right there. Says statement sweep. I wanted Barry to see that right there.
I saw that this morning.
Because he didn't think that would happen, and that's the Vols right there.
I wish you would just correct yourself.
Sweep it on out.
Just say, hey, and just.
Barry, I don't have no problem taking. If I say it, I'll own it.
No, you haven't yet. You haven't for how many years?
I will.
How many years has it been?
Up to it. I will own up to it, buddy. I will own up to it. Okay.
No.
Right there's. It's just some good things happened this weekend over there, and we're ready to rock and roll now. So all I can tell you is, Hold on, and you don't have no tickets waiting at the will call window either.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Oh, no, you can't tell me.
Yeah,
that.
I just did.
No.
I just told you. I made sure of that.
You can, but you
That's right.
but you don't know about that either.
I do. I know.
Well, I'll bring my ticket stub.
You can bring your stuff all you want to. I'll tell you what,
stub.
bring me 3 straight for this weekend series against Mississippi State.
No, I'm not going to go 3 straight.
You can't
I can't go to 3 straight.
You can't do it. You can't bring me one.
I can go to 3 straight. I can go to 1, but I
You
can't
can't
go
bring
to
me
3.
one. So anyway.
But you don't even care about it.
So
That's
let's talk
the problem.
about something.
You're always wanting to get rid of one of the coaches over there. So
No, I didn't want to get. I think Tony
yeah,
Vitel's probably the best baseball coach we've had in a long time. I will go back. I will go back to. He's going to be one of the better ones.
No, I think if you're going to go back, you have to go back to the one that came from Florida State, Delmonico, who started from scratch. Literally,
I'm just saying.
literally
I'm
started
saying
from scratch.
I put him back to right there with him.
Yeah, Delmonico had some really good teams, and he brought it from scratch. It wasn't quite as bad as when Vitello came. It was down. It was down. But he still had some he still had some talent there. And as a matter of fact, I can't believe that you didn't read in the paper there and comment on the fact that Farragut has supplied him a lot of those kids.
I was fixing to ask you a question about that right there.
A lot of kids.
The talk is that Farragut is still the pipeline to the baseball team. How is the baseball team, how can baseball recruit, let's say hometown kids? Because they are really hometown kids.
Okay.
Why is the football team not able to recruit hometown and are really good in the state? I mean, Tennessee's recruiting really good right in their back door and getting that talent's not leaving, where Tennessee's got a lot of talent just in the state of Tennessee that leaves.
Well, I think a lot of it is you're looking at different kinds of talent in baseball. You're looking at a lot of individual talent. Can the kid hit? Can he run? Can he throw? Can he catch? Okay. Those kinds of things.
So if I'm looking at an offensive lineman, I look, can he block? Can he run block?
But I'm saying
block?
he's got to fit in. He's got to fit into the guy next to him. The center's got the center and the guard got. I mean, you can give a little bit. In fact, the Farragut coach, his son's going to Coastal Carolina. I mean, he's not coming to UT. He's going to Coastal Carolina. So if you add all of the kids out of Farragut that are going places to play ball, you end up probably with another 5 or 6 that are going. Instead of that, you got one. You had a starting pitcher from Vanderbilt, from Farragut. So what tells me is a lot of kids that probably should be going to Hardin Valley and to Bearden are coming to Farragut to play baseball. It's a baseball school. And rightfully so. When you start putting that many kids, it's just like Alcoa. Did you see where the quarterback's transferring in from out of state to Alcoa? The kid that left Webb to go to IMG for basketball is now back at Alcoa for football.
He is, but that's where he's from, Alcoa, though, too.
Well, but I'm just saying, he's made a full circle, and Alcoa is the place now that he's chosen to come because he can win a state championship there.
Yeah, and I think he played on a state championship basketball team this year, too. That kid from IMG did, I think.
So
I think he come back and play basketball this year.
I think that's when you start seeing dynasties like that. It's not coming. You're not coming from just your neighborhood.
That's true. I don't have no problem agreeing with that. I just think.
I mean, Alcoa Aluminum. How many people? It's sort of like Oak Ridge. How many people have Alcoa Aluminum? Are working because.
I think that's the difference. And if you don't talk about the two cities, I think that's the difference in Alcoa and Oak Ridge today. The jobs in Oak Ridge are not here today like they were back in the 70s and 80s at the plants where you could get a family would come here and dad had a job there, or mom and dad both had jobs there more likely, and then you reap the benefits of the kids.
And I think the other advantage that Alcoa has right now over Maryville even is Maryville changed head coaches, still had a couple of good years. Now he's on his own. Alcoa changed. Nix took over, who had been there all those years, won another championship last year. So now he doesn't have to prove himself any longer. He's won a state championship. The Maryville coach has got to do that. So I think that's the difference in in those two schools.
Well, if you just look as close as those two schools are to each other, you wonder how they both have enough good athletes to even be in contention every year anyway.
Because of the other two schools. You got Blunt,
understand
and
that.
Heritage, who are suffering.
You would think
greatly from
the
lack
majority
of
of those kids would go one place or the other.
Well,
is that going to tend now that Maryville's not won one in a couple of years?
I think
is that going to tend that you swing to
I
Alcoa?
think you're going to see Alcoa become a powerhouse, just like Maryville was. Alcoa's always been one.
I don't think Alcoa is going to become like Maryville. I think they already are like Maryville in football. They're probably more of a dynasty right now in them there is in Maryville.
But I think the difference is going to be you're going to see Alcoa start beating Maryville on the football field where they haven't had much success.
Okay, we'll have to see. We can say that can be to discuss further, but later on.
But you'll turn it around and you'll say, I tried to tell him that Alcoa was going to be a power.
I don't really have too much opinion. My only opinion on that is I'm just surprised that one school or another, whether it's Alcoa or Maryville one, is not getting the lump sum of the kids.
Well,
now.
I think it's who's getting the most from William Blunt or Heritage to help fill some gaps.
And that very well might be true. I might agree with you. It very well might be true.
Okay.
So we'll see. Let's see if we got a call here, if it's going someplace else. No, it's not for us.
It's going to accounting.
Yeah, it's going to accounting. Yeah. It's somebody that's agreeing with me. Oh, wait a minute. It is for us.
That won't be anybody.
Quick, caller, you on the air?
Dave?
Yes.
Ron? I'll tell you what, I hope you guys know a good place that serves crow with a big slice of barbecue sauce on it. Because I hate to say this, but I dropped the ball last weekend with the Vandy boys.
You dropped the ball?
Good thing is, I thought, that 1 out of 3. My brother is a Vanderbilt graduate, so that's the only good thing I was able to do. Was able to kind of tell him, see you, wouldn't want to be you. But otherwise, I'm calling tonight to apologize from last week, saying that we might get 1 out of 3.
Well, that's better than what Barry done.
I don't think you have to apologize. I think there were probably more people thinking more like you than otherwise. But I think I think Vitello was letting them play their own game. And finally saying, okay, now what you've been doing didn't work.
Well, Ron, let me tell you something. After the last Tuesday night against Tennessee Tech, the way they looked like they didn't know which end to hit the bat off of, But I tell you, this past weekend it was like the old last couple of years.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think he finally had a little powwow and said, now guys, here we are. You're supposed to be better than last year and all this hoop and holler. Now you got to go do it on the field. I don't think Vanderbilt was probably as good as we gave them credit for being, and everything fell into place for 2T.
And Ron, I tell you, and Dave, I tell you, the Vanderbilt coach, he reminds me of. He reminds me of, as far as like a comparison for football with Nick Saban. It's like very stoic. This is how we do things. Yada yada yada. And here's Vitello. It's like, no, we're going to throw it up. We're going to throw it up against the wall and see what happens. I loved it. Last weekend was the most fun weekend I've ever had at a Tennessee baseball game. It was fun. These guys were.
Well, the best one I've been to was LSU series last year.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about this year. This is like it was like coming back from last year. I'm like what you said, Ron. I think Vitello got in there and kind of rattled her cage and said, "All right, here's what we got to do."
Yep. Yeah, because it was really a break-even series. I mean, you had to come out of there in pretty good shape just to give you a chance down the road. But also when you looked at when you looked at Vanderbilt's,
I need a good. If you know anybody can serve a good plate of crow with some barbecue sauce on it, because I need it, because after what I said last Wednesday night, I deserve whatever I get.
I tell you
come
what,
on up here next Wednesday night, and we'll have a plate of crow. For you.
I'm gonna give Barry some because he's eating a little crow tonight too. So I'll get both of them to plate.
All right, love you, boys.
See you, bud.
Appreciate you,
All
man.
right, see.
We need to take a break before we come back.
What are we taking a break for?
Well, you start on some other stuff here.
No, there's no other stuff to start on. When Gary called, he didn't want to talk to me. He wanted to talk to you about what you were saying. I know who the caller was.
Do you know?
Oh, he'll call me at the house tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's take a break, Chandler. We'll be right back just a minute here on the Locker Room Chat.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain warranty at no extra cost. We also have a complete service department equipped for maintenance and repairs on all makes and models.
Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. Rome Metals Group, treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
And welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. Can't tell you everything we talk about in the locker room because
that's the locker room.
Yeah, we can't tell you everything. It's a code in here in the locker room.
Code red.
Code red. Yeah, call code red. Code red. Tell them there's a storm coming tonight or something like that. But anyway, men's basketball. He's finalized it looks like. Well, be a matter of fact, he's not finalized it because 2 kids have got to leave. He's got to thin it out by 2.
That's pretty easy to do.
Well, somebody said, yeah, he's got to thin it out by 2, and nobody knows who the 2 is except for him because he knows who the 2 is that's gone probably.
Yep.
And I'm shocked to hear one of them's the freshman that Phillips that played quite a bit last year. We started till he got hurt. And there's some talk if he don't go to the NBA, that he'll transfer and go to Auburn where he was originally scheduled to go anyway.
Yeah, I
Julian
think
Phillips. I think
it'll
stay.
He's a good player.
He's a good player.
I think it'll be easy though when Barnes says, "Son, have you considered a transfer?" portal, you probably can get a good ride and some playing time. But Phillips ended up being an integral part.
I don't think he's NBA ready.
No.
But I think I would like to see him stay.
I'd rather him stay here and go to Auburn.
Now,
'cause I don't want to play against him.
Today I was listening to the Fonbaum show. Quite a few people on Bruce Pearl today wondered if next year could be the year for him to be out the door, which Fonbaum come to his defense right quick like and said he didn't think so because long-term contract. And they said, well, Auburn does things a little weird. And when they get ready to get rid of you, they just get rid of you. It don't matter what the contract is.
$32 million on a football coach.
That's what I'm saying. So they don't care. So
and then backed it up in another year with another $6 or $7 million for a fired one.
Yep. So Rick Barnes is reloaded. There's a question mark or two not about the kids. It's about if the kids can play. They can play. They just can't play one side of the ball that Rick Barnes is known for, and that's the defensive side. There's one player that's just offensively is probably going to be what Tennessee needs, but can he get on the floor because of his defense that he doesn't play? He played practically no defense last year.
If he can score more than he gives up, he'll be on the floor.
He'll be on the floor.
Right.
Okay, I'm agreeing with you. So something else me and you talked about before, and something we talked about last week, and let's just talk about all of it. The NCAA investigation. Tennessee had a hearing last week and went through the hearing and didn't hear all. Nobody's allowed in there. So if what I'm saying tonight is just what somebody else has probably heard from somebody. But the talk was on the talk show this past weekend was Tennessee possibly lose 10 scholarships for the next 4 years.
That's not right.
Which would be, I didn't say it was.
No, that's not right.
Would be 40, or there would be a bowl ban.
Have you not checked with Chandler? Chandler was in. I mean, we had BBB in there. I mean, we were one of the few.
He's not told me.
Oh,
but he does have something he wants me and you to do tonight, and we'll do it here just a little later. He's asked me and you to pick. He wants us to pick something, and we'll get him involved in here in just a minute with us. But which would you think is more detrimental to the team? Let's just say what I've said is something and I'm sure that it's been thrown about losing some scholarships. Would you think the 40 scholarships or the bowl game is more detrimental?
I don't respond to stuff like that's not going to happen. I mean,
don't say go to the next page. Neither. That's what you told me earlier. Go to the next page.
Neither one of those is going to. Neither one of those is. Because let's stop and think. 3 years ago, when this happened, was illegal. Today, it's legal. All you do is pay them through the NIL.
I understand that, but I'm gonna put you on warning, okay?
Okay.
You better hope, for your sake, if it happens, anything that I've said today happens, I would give you some advice. You're not gonna listen to me anyway.
What's that?
Don't come to the next show.
Well, what are you saying is going to happen? You're asking me to get.
I've just thrown out
what are you saying?
I don't know if we're going to give them 40 games or not. You won't even answer whether you said.
You haven't answered it. You haven't answered it.
I think 40 games is harsh.
Okay. Which do you think is going to happen?
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you were asking me which one I would pick,
no, I didn't ask you which one was going to. Which one you'd pick?
I said
which
the bowl
one.
ban.
You're asking what's going to happen. Which one? What do you think?
I don't think Tennessee can afford to lose one scholarship.
Do you think one of those two things will happen?
I think there could be some scholarships. You just hope. I don't think it'll be 40. I think there'll be some more scholarships. I think they'll lose some more recruit. I wouldn't be shocked if you didn't have something like maybe spring practice. No spring practice.
Well, first of all, I think we're in uncharted waters. This is the first time I can never remember that a wife and a babysitter have been involved in it.
I'm agree with you on that.
So institutional control. I mean, how far back are you supposed to go on this? Number two, they've already had two coaches that will no longer coach in college. Another one won't coach in college, because he's in the NFL right now. But if he ever comes back, he won't coach in college. So you've hit some pretty. And how many times? I think Patino was one of the few times that I can ever remember that a coach was actually pulled into one of these investigations. Most of the time, the assistants take the heat and the coach escapes.
So I'll ask you this question, and you'll want to dance all the way around it because you seem to be one of his biggest fans. Just seems to be, though, that not only did you have a head coach that was in charge, your athletic director was right in there with him.
Well, I mean,
you're
always after
your man
Fulmer.
Philip Fulmer he's dragging the program
always
down
after Fulmer.
He's dragging him down in the dirt again.
You've been anti-Fulmer since 1998 when he won the national championship. You've been against him the whole time.
I said after 1998.
Pull the tapes.
Let's pull the tapes when Ron Berry we wasn't in this building right here. We were over there across the street in that other building. And Ron Berry was I'll never forget coming in on that summer hot day. And Barry said, all the recruits are there. They're all in summer school. This is it. We're ready to rock and roll.
Won the national championship.
And it was when it was. No, we did not.
Yeah, it won the national championship when we said that.
Well,
sure.
You know how many of them guys finished at UT? One, I think.
No, that was the national championship
No, it wasn't the national championship year. You're full of it. So we talked about this last week, too. What's the penalty going to be? What's it going to take to get to keep fans from rushing the field? And as I told you today what I heard, and you're going
to have to quit watching whatever you're watching.
Hold on.
You need to
Here's the
quit.
Kicker. You storm the field, you lose a home football game.
Nah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You're telling me that Knoxville could lose $7 million for a game, for a weekend? Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
So how they stop it then?
You may lose some scholarships. You may lose a couple scholarships, or they're gonna find a way. I don't care what you say. If they start finding you $500,000 or $1 million, that's hurtful. That's a lot of something else you've got to make up to get even with it. So they may up the ante to $1 million. But I don't think
500,000 hadn't stopped him.
Well, but 500,000 is the second one, right? First one's 250.
500,000 has not stopped him. So you're talking $750,000 total.
No, what I'm saying is the second one's 500, right?
Yeah,
so there haven't been many 500 yet.
From the first one to the second one is
right,
500. That's
right.
$750,000.
Okay.
Basically in the same year. You're right at
it.
Not
necessarily
yes,
the same
it was.
Year.
I forgot what. There was a school that done it twice. This year. Done it twice. They fined $250 and $500.
Well, they've got a lot of.
So the theory
hitters.
behind the thing would be this, and I use Alabama for Tennessee because it's not very many occasions that Tennessee football rushes the field, except for people like Alabama. I got a feeling that could come in play this year.
And that's not unusual. I mean, it's unusual because of the 11 years.
It's unusual because of that. But I got a feeling this year the game would be Georgia. So Tennessee's playing Georgia this year, and Tennessee knocks them off. Defending national champion, Tennessee knocks them off, and Tennessee rushes the field. And the penalty would be Tennessee would lose a game. Okay, people says, all right, what game would that be? Well, that game would be Georgia. Okay, and you say, okay, well, they don't play home next year anyway. They play in Georgia. Correct. The next year, when Tennessee would have Georgia at home, that game is at Georgia. So now you would wind up playing Georgia 3 straight years at home instead of having your traditional. You'd lose your home. I'm just saying that's a thought. That's a thought.
But see, the difference is the people you're listening to
are
just like us. They're assuming a lot.
No, I'm not assuming nothing.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, yeah, they are.
I'm assuming when we talked about the 40 scholarships in the bowl game.
Right.
That was what was talked about in the meeting with the NCAA. I didn't assume that's what was
40 scholarships.
40 scholarships.
What NCAA?
The NCAA meeting that they just came from for the violation. It was thrown out 10 scholarships a year.
That Tennessee just went to?
Yes.
Why would he be talking about that?
As a penalty. As a penalty.
But we're talking about storming the field now.
Well, I know we are, but I'm just saying I'm not assuming nothing.
No, but you're mixing apples and oranges.
This is being reported. So this is being reported that's what they're discussing as a possible penalty. Yeah. It's only a discussion right now. No, but all I'm saying. I'm not assuming anything.
Until you read about the presidents of the universities meeting together, then and like I say, when you start looking at Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, most LSU, the money that's generated outside the university, take away all of the concessions, all of the ticket sales, just outside is that won't happen. That won't happen.
So I told you this too as we were getting ready to talk tonight. We were discussing this right here. I'll tell you this too. If Greg Sankey proposes this, I will bet money it passes.
Well, he would do it as an ex commissioner. Because those same presidents would have to vote him out, because I'm telling you.
They're not going to vote him out.
Can't, the people of Knoxville or Baton Rouge or Gainesville or Alabama or Georgia, they are not going to lose. They're not going to lose a football game of that caliber.
They're going to stop people from storming the field.
You can't stop them. You can't stop them.
Well, then the next thing would be, next year when Tennessee plays Alabama, there's no fans in the stands.
No, that's not going to happen either.
Maybe it does.
That's not going to
Hey,
happen.
you know.
Well, that's just,
I'm not assuming it. What if the SEC votes, you storm the field, you storm the basketball court, the following year when you play Kentucky, when you storm the court, there will be no fans in Thompson-Boling.
That's not going to happen.
Just out here, it's just a talking point.
Well, I'm just saying though, but
you don't know that it won't happen.
Well, you can just use some, that's not a valid solution to their problem. Now,
it is a solution.
I don't know what I said. Valid solution.
It's a solution. Though.
I said a valid solution.
Well, you say valid all you want to. I'm telling you, it's a solution.
But I don't have the answer. I don't think you can stop them. It's just like some fans said. I bought a ticket, and that gives me the right when I get in there to storm the field if I want to, because they can't stop me.
I go back to my first comments I made tonight with you. Statement sweep from last week. You didn't think Vanderbilt would Tennessee get Vandy.
Oh, I didn't think they'd sweep them. No, you didn't either.
I did.
No,
I did. I figured 2 out of 3.
Boy, how soon?
And I'm going to tell you right now,
forget.
some information I told you tonight. Forget. Don't be shocked if you're not talking about it in the weeks to come.
Well, it'll be just like the rest of the stuff you talk about. You haven't been right on most anything yet.
Yes, I have. I've been right on everything. Let's take a break, Channel. We'll be right back here in just a minute on Let's Argue in the Locker Room.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
The life of every child is precious. If you care for a child or teenager with a disability and have limited income and resources, they may qualify for monthly cash payments through the Supplemental Security Income Program, or SSI. Call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI-Kids to learn more. That's ssa.gov/SSI-Kids. Message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain warranty at no extra cost. We also have a complete service department equipped for maintenance and repairs on all makes and models.
Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Welcome back to the locker room chat. That's what we've been doing tonight, just chatting away. And I've been trying to keep Barry under control. His wife didn't send his medicine for me to give him tonight, so he's a little out of control. I'm sorry. So, all right, Chandler wanted me and you to talk about this.
Okay.
Tonight. And I'm sure when Brad hears us talking about it, he'll probably wander back in here and want to get in on it too. If you were going to pick a NFL draft tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, all right?
Okay.
Who, in your mind, that will be drafted? Let's say we'll just put it on the first round. Is there somebody right now that you could think of that would be drafted in the first round that you absolutely think will be a flop?
A flop?
That they'll not turn out being, whether it's quarterback, whether it's a lineman, or is there anybody? Do you think if Bryce Young is picked number 1 tomorrow night and goes, I believe, to the Panthers? Do you think he winds up being a good quarterback in the NFL, or is he a flop? Or is there somebody else you think? I think it's C.J. Stroud myself. Or I agree with Chandler a little bit. Could be the kid out of Kentucky because he's not really showed a lot. And I think Brad's pick would be the kid from Florida, the quarterback from Florida, Richardson.
Richardson?
Yeah.
Now Richardson, they're talking about being the one that probably has the best chance of succeeding.
I know, and that's the one.
I guess because his mobility.
I
and
guess
size
I don't know. Bryce Young. They're saying Bryce Young is too small and all that. So they're saying all that. So got people calling left and right. I need to silence my phone. So
I don't blame them for calling.
Yeah, they need to call. Oh, that's just my attorney right there.
Yeah. I don't. You need.
I don't need an attorney. I just happen to have one.
You need one.
Anyway, can you think you got somebody in mind?
Well, no, because generally speaking, you have more chances of them not succeeding than you do succeeding. I mean, look at all of the number ones that have gone by the wayside.
What, do you think the kid out of Florida is overrated? Did he
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Did he show you anything?
No, I don't know
last year?
that he's overrated, but they look at some things that all we see is his own field action. He may have a bad left tackle that's not protecting him that makes him look bad, or he may have a receiver that drops. When they get him in those combines and they put those stopwatches on them on how long the ball is in the air from one hash mark to the other, how his feet operate, his psychic, putting him under pressure and stuff like that.
So think about this for a minute. How many SEC quarterbacks are playing in the NFL today? Actually starting.
Starting?
The only one that I can think of offhand would be Jalen Hurts. Not really from the SEC because he left and went to Oklahoma. But I'll give him some credit. He's the SEC.
Part. He's a cousin anyway.
Yeah, he's cousin to it there.
Well, and you had the kid from Miami, from Alabama, that was playing until he was hurt. He started. He was
he's still playing. That's two. I forgot about him. Tonga Tailu, whatever his name is.
But I guess I would agree that out of all of the ones that have been mentioned, that I think probably would be first would be Kentucky. I mean, he's not shown. In fact, he couldn't put Kentucky on his back and carry him.
I can agree with that.
And if that's the criteria, or if that's what you're really looking for, but Kentucky wasn't. They're not a.
So the quarterback at Georgia, Stetson Bennett. There's been a lot of talk about him not even being.
Well, he's only 5'9".
Yeah, he's a very small guy. So I'm going to ask you this question. I asked me and Chandler talked about this before you got here, well, right as you were coming in. As a matter of fact, had been talking about it. Do you think Georgia could have won the last 2 national championships without Stetson Bennett as quarterback? Could they have won with another quarterback, considering how strong their defense was?
Yeah, I think so. I think they had some kids that transferred from quarterback that could have done it. I mean, if you go back and look over the last 3-4 years, Georgia has stockpiled more running backs, quarterbacks, receivers. I think they've had a couple. Well, they had the quarterback that went to Ohio State. So I think they've recruited probably better than any school in the country the last 3 years.
Sonny, got somebody said that Oak Ridge and Halls is going to have a scrimmage, and it's ironic. Halls have no idea how it would work out considering Coach Cummings. Apparently, Coach Cummings is at Halls.
Yes.
Went back to Halls. Is still on Oak Ridge's payroll, school payroll.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? So there's going to be a scrimmage. So anyway, but I don't know. I mean, that's just what I'm saying is, what do you think about Hendon Hooker? They're saying he's going to get drafted.
I think he could be the surprise of the draft.
So he's somebody you think that will have some success in the NFL.
I think he could be the surprise. Some general manager, I don't know. Again, that's a way above my pay grade. But some general manager will take a shot on him, and probably get a bargain in terms of salary. 2 things. He's more mature. He's 25 years old, so he's more mature than the average young man coming out of college to be a quarterback. And number 2, he's had, even though he didn't have a lot of success at Virginia Tech, the coaching staff there, I think, held him back more than anything, cost the coach there his job. But I think you've seen under Tennessee's wide open offense, you've seen what he can do, and he ran the football an awfully lot and didn't get hurt.
So you made a comment that he's 25. That's correct. That's being held against him a little bit too.
It is, and that's why I'm saying somebody, because but stop and think. The 23-year-old that takes a couple of years to mature to get to a starting, 25.
I agree with you.
So I'm saying somebody that needs a quarterback, and they need someone at least by mid-season, if they're having troubles, to step in and go ahead and, if I were the Cleveland Browns, as much trouble as I've had with the quarterback, I'd probably take a chance on it.
So it's a good possibility, but so the talk is to talk about the Florida kid that Tennessee, the Titans, are going to trade up to the 3rd pick, just talk, to the 3rd pick to draft Richardson as a quarterback of the future. So Hendon Hooker is talked possibly a late 1st round pick. I've not heard who, or somewhere in the 2nd.
I'd rather have Hooker than Richardson, I think.
I can agree with you on that. They're saying the offensive lineman that left Tennessee to go to the draft, right, could be a 1st round pick.
Yep.
Could be a 1st round pick.
I guess the Georgia tackle may be the first one.
There's some talk, but there's also some talk about the guy that's on the defensive side of the ball at Georgia, by him being in
that's
the
what I'm saying, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, but his stocks has fallen a little bit from some of his.
Minnesota's high on Hooker.
As from his antics where they got in the drag racing and somebody got killed.
That's right.
His stock is lost. Chandler said Brad thought that Richardson might be the flop, but Titans are looking at possibly drafting up for him. So you always claim you lived.
Would explain why.
Yeah, you always talked that you lived in Green Bay.
Talked it.
Yeah, I said
Are you questioning whether I did?
No,
or not?
you say
Well, that's
you
what
talk
said.
about Green Bay.
Well, maybe,
You
no,
talked
that
about
wasn't what
Green
you
Bay.
said first. Rewind it.
Rewind it.
That's
We gonna have to
you
start
said you
keeping it.
claimed.
You claimed to
okay.
lived in Green
Okay,
Bay.
so you're
I
not-
don't know if
so
you
you're
did
not-
or not.
Oh, so you're doubting me?
I don't know. Oh, okay. So did you live in Green Bay?
1501 Oneida Street.
Okay.
Which is now Lombardi Boulevard.
Okay.
Lambeau Boulevard.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
what'd you think about Aaron Rodgers departing, getting traded?
I'm ready for him to go. I've heard all Aaron Rodgers I want to hear.
Are you a Green Bay Packer fan?
I'm a Green Bay Packer fan.
So you root for him?
I root for him.
Well, that says a lot right there. That's all I need to know, really.
Rooted for him since 1962.
1962.
First year they won the national championship. That's how they could become Title Town. Y.E. Tittle was the quarterback for the New York Giants.
Man, you're telling your age now. Be careful.
That's all right. They called it Title Town and beat them 31-0. All
right.
Jim Taylor ran over Sam Huff at the 5-yard line. Ran over him. You don't remember Sam Huff probably, but
listen, Barry, in 1962, I was 5 years old.
well, like I say, I was a football fan at 5 years old. See, I remember.
No, you're older than me. Don't come down. You ain't coming back to me now. Hey, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take our last break, and then Chandler says you got some high school stuff for us. We'll talk some high school baseball, softball.
I claim to have been from Green Bay. Wow, that's a low blow.
Go ahead, Chandler. Let's take a break.
That's a low blow.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain warranty at no extra cost. We also have a complete service department equipped for maintenance and repairs on all makes and models.
Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
Treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. Glad you got to be with us tonight. If you want to give us a call at 483-8112, go ahead. You still got just a few minutes to do that, and we'll try to answer your question to the best of our capabilities. Chandler, you got some high school stuff? Let's go. So, got a little baseball score here. Clinton, I think, is tied right now for the district lead, I believe, with Anderson County. And I think it's going to come down to a game tomorrow night between Clinton and Anderson County. Who wins the district, maybe? I think Oak Ridge is already clinched, but see where they lost there to Lenore City. Coalfield loses to Boyd Buchanan 3-2. Wartburg and Rockwood 16-6.
And these we've only got a couple weeks left of baseball for the district.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty quickly. Wow, Greenback beats Oak Ridge 4-0.
Look at Cofield just barely lost to Greenville. That's a 4A, 5A school.
Yep. Clinton wins
Daniel
one,
Boone.
loses
Oak Ridge
one.
playing Daniel Boone. Boy, they're playing way out of.
And Clinton played Daniel Boone too and got beat. And Oak Ridge beat Daniel Boone.
Rockwood with a big win over Harriman.
Oliver Springs over Sells Creek, 12-11. Midway and Greenback. And Oak Ridge gets Kingston. Clay County runs all over Sunbright, 21-1.
So then Harriman comes back and beats Rockwood. Big time. So that's back to back there.
Back to back. Cofield gets Oneida.
And we've been told, well, let's finish these scores up here.
Softball. Clinton 9-0 over Bearden. Kingston over Midway. Halls over Powell. Anderson County over Oneida. And OS over Rockwood. Wartburg, wow. Wartburg gets Oak Ridge 18-2. And Midway girls get Rockwood girls 11-7. Wow.
Oliver Springs 30-19 over Oneida.
Yeah, that's the score I was waiting on. Chandler told me about that.
Wow,
earlier.
22-6, Harriman over Oak Ridge. That's
some.
That's a
30-19 football
5-inning game.
Yeah, 30-19's a football score, bud.
Well, that's
So we are coming down. We're getting ready probably for district tournament to start, which that tells you that school's just about over with. I mean, we're winding down the school year.
It's almost May 1st.
It is, and it won't be long. We'll be talking about what's going on state tournament wise and everything, and you have the state tournaments that'll be rolling along. Spring football, if you're having it, it's probably getting ready to get started here. Just as soon as baseball's over with, get spring football started, and then everybody will shift gear. We'll shift gears and get ready for football.
Countdown to football.
And it just seems like it just comes faster and faster and faster, and it'll be here before you know it. August. Something will be here before you know it. It'll be right here.
Well, actually, into July when they start 7-on-7.
Yeah, they'll start. I think some of them are already participating. They're already doing some stuff, I think. So, football used to be you took some time off from football. I don't think you take very much time off anymore.
We've heard that several coaching changes in some different sports around the area.
Yep, that's what they're talking. We'll see.
Cofield, Oliver Springs, Wartburg, different places. So, stay tuned on that as the coaching carousel
always does a little bit. It always people move on to bigger places or get out of it altogether.
Coach Webb is assuming one of the longest longevity spots in the state now. So it's.
Well, Coach Webb, somebody's done a good job at Rockwood. I don't know how long he's been there. How long has he been there?
Pretty steady.
How long has he been there?
I'd say
he's got
been
20
there,
at least.
Oh yeah, he's been there probably since 95, 96, somewhere in there, 97.
He's been there for a while.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I like Coach Webb a lot. I like him a lot. He's a good guy. He's a good football coach.
Good for the community.
He is. I agree with you 100%. He always has a really good football. He always has a good football team, and you just can't never count them out. I mean, you always, when you think they're down and out, they're not down and out. He just continues every year to. His standard's pretty high.
You hadn't talked much about NASCAR lately.
Man, NASCAR's. I don't know. This weekend I watched the race at Talladega, and they're trying to cut back on money, spending money because money's tight with them, and they've took so much horsepower away from them.
Who won, Busch?
Kyle Busch won. He's at RCR now.
In a Hedrick?
No, he's at RCR. Richard Childers. He's from from Gibbs Racing. Went from a Toyota back over to a Chevrolet.
First time they've won in a while, right?
Yeah, he won. He's won once this year already.
Childers
Yeah, Childers has won twice this year.
Yeah.
Busch has won both of them.
Yeah.
But
they were in a little slump, weren't they?
Yeah, they've been in a slump. But NASCAR's just, they're taking like I said, they're taking the horsepower away, and you can't. There's not any. It's
everybody's equal.
Yeah, it's just follow the leader, man.
So it's who can get out of the pits the fastest, and who.
It's all about track. Yeah, it's all about track position, and it's got.
Because I saw where he gambled. He gambled, right?
He stayed out. They told him to pit.
Right.
And he didn't.
Right.
And he stayed out and won it. Yep. He got lucky and won it. But it's not what it. Now they're finding them if they say something on a podcast that whatever, they fine them and take points away from them. They don't allow them to. You gotta. So
Now there's something that they might take a win away from you if you storm the field.
That's a possibility. I hadn't thought about that.
I was waiting until the end of the show.
I'm just saying what I said earlier.
But what I'm saying is that's when you mention points. That's a valid way to do it.
I'm just saying what I said earlier. Just things that's being discussed. They're just throwing out as possibilities.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't think it really matters what they do. Now that
Chandler.
Hey, that might be that taking a win away.
Yeah, I mean,
let me ask you this question: do you take? We'll use Tennessee from Alabama this past year. Do you take that win away from Tennessee? That win right then. If you storm the field, you lose that game.
You could. Now, you talk about putting the financial burden on you now, because that could knock you out of the championship.
I like that better than I do. Yeah. Not getting the whole game the next time.
You didn't.
Well, no, they're all possibilities.
No, but I'm just saying.
Like I told you, 40 scholarships over 4. That's something that's been.
I had that written down here. I was just waiting for the right time to.
Well, now wait a minute, y'all. I started saying when you go with your commission meeting, y'all throw things around. No, y'all just do things. Y'all don't even throw them around and talk about my whole thing. So we won't even talk about that.
But that's a possibility.
Oh, I like that possibility even better. Nah, the presidents will never vote for that. They'll be voting Sankey out if he did that.
So
just what I think.
But.
I'm only kidding. I agree with you. I take either one of them. I would be for either one, but I don't think either one of them work.
Either one of what?
Home game or
I don't think the
loss.
I don't think the home game works just because of what we were talking about. You can't have the city lose that kind of revenue.
Then how can you stand to have the football school? How can you stand to have the school lose that revenue if they're not allowed to go to to get in the playoffs?
Well, I didn't say you couldn't. I didn't say you couldn't keep them out of that. I said it could keep them if the record.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, but that's up to them. And that's probably not going to happen either. But I'm just saying it's
good talk. It's a good idea. I like the idea.
Or you could take some points away from them in their standings or something if they're number 3 in the country and you take some points away to make them number 5.
Just remember that right
What's
there.
That?
Statement sweep, buddy. This past weekend, Tennessee sweeps Vanderbilt, and Ron Berry.
Old news.
And Ron Berry.
No, don't be fibbing
and
now.
Our caller tonight.
Don't be fibbing now.
And our caller tonight. I only thought Tennessee had a possibility of winning one game.
Don't be fibbing now. Don't be fibbing now. You're stretching it a little bit. No, you didn't say at least 2.
So.
You didn't say at least 2.
Glad you were here tonight. We made it through another Wednesday night, and we come out with not too many scratch marks. It worked out pretty good. Just tell the truth, baby. That's all you got to do. Hey, join us right back here next week at 8 o'clock here on the Locker Room Chat, and me and Ron Berry will be back next week. And we look forward to seeing you, and have a good weekend. Get out and see some high school sports while they're left. They're about over with. You got anything you want to say before we go? We'll see you next week.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain